Good morning, everyone. And just like that, we are on to the start of a new week. So we're back on the Jensen again, the second Jensen, that is, for the start of this week anyway. I'll explain the plans in a second. Just wanted to start this video off, guys, by saying thank you so much to all those nice comments that we've had on the previous video. I did mention in the previous video that we had one single negative comment about the shop, and it's very, very rare. But all of you guys have come forward in support and put some really nice comments on the latest video. So it's really, really nice to see. Really appreciate it. I see every single comment. I do try and reply to them eventually. In the next few days, I will be replying to everyone. But yeah, it's just, makes it all worthwhile, to be completely honest with you. I've said previously, look, we don't get anything from doing this. It gets the business out there, and it's nice to show people what we're doing. But realistically, we don't really get anything from doing all the YouTube side of things. It's just something that I enjoy doing, frankly. I like to keep you guys up to date with what we're up to in the shop. And for those of you who seem to enjoy it, you seem to enjoy it. So I'll keep going. So yeah, it does get to me a little bit when we get the negative side of things, but it makes up for it tenfold when all of you regulars are commenting nice things. So yeah, that's all. Just want to say thanks again. Really do appreciate it, genuinely. Yeah. Anyway, on to the week. So we are back sanding the L shape. Excuse my finger. Had a bit of a mishap this morning. Back onto the L shape. Sanding that little section off there, which was the last little repair section, which I wasn't happy with, so just getting that into its final shape. Buzz the whole car over with a 500. I've had a slight change of plan, so I think what I'm going to do on this one, I wouldn't normally do this, but I think I am going to paint this one with the doors on. Reason for that is because it's going to a 3-stage pearlescent white, which I mentioned before, and just the last thing that I want to do is put the doors back on afterwards and find out that they don't match with the rear quarter and the wing and they look out of place. The 3-stage pearls can be very, very difficult to paint sometimes. Even though we're obviously painting them back to back pretty much, it would be, the shell one day and the doors the following day, and painting them exactly the same way. But even just the slightest change in conditions, temperature, drying times, flash off times, all that sort of thing can sometimes make the slightest shift in metallic orientation. I just don't want to risk it, frankly, so I don't think it would be an issue, but I also don't want to do the whole job just to find that I've got to do the whole thing again, if that makes sense. Equally, we're on a winning battle with this one in some ways because, just open the door quickly, we've got some very sharp edges going on. I think most of that there is covered anyway. Most of the internal panel of the door here is covered as well, so we've not got much to paint. And we can utilize these sharp edges quite nicely with a soft edge foam, so, especially on a white, so you'd never notice the transition between the two. So basically, plan is we'll paint the inside of the door shuts, paint the inside of the door here as well, all the bits which I won't be able to get to then when the door is back on, and we can then soft edge mask all of the painted sections off, protect that, put the door back on, lining up, and then paint the car as a whole basically, and then it's just going to be the bonnet and the hatch to do. Bonnet won't mismatch because just the way that it is on the top of the car rather than dead down the side, you'd never see it even if it was a shade out, and like I said, it shouldn't be anyway because it's exactly the same paint system, exactly the same way that I'll be painting everything, so it should match up fine. It's just me probably overthinking things, but that's the plan that I'm going to go with. So yeah, basically prep the car, remove the doors, get the insides of the doors and door struts prepped. We'll hopefully paint those today to stay on some sort of schedule going forwards. Rough mask done, and the epoxy is on there as per usual, so corrosion resistance on the bare metal areas, the doors as well. It's ready now, quick flash off time, and then it's ready for a white wet on wet, and then we'll go in with our base coat white, and then we'll go in with the effect coats, 2 coats of clear, and we'll be done. Right then guys, that's the door shuts and inside of the doors done. couldn't resist coming back into the booth now before the bake cycle just to show you guys this colour quickly. It does not show up on camera, as always, but it's a 3-stage pearl, like I said. I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing here, but it just doesn't show up on the camera. It's a really nice colour, let's say that. I think compared to, if we can get a bit of the original colour. It's so difficult to show you, but the original colour, as far as I was concerned, it was always a very sort of dull cream off-white sort of colour. We've gone for a very, very crisp 3-stage pearlescent now on this one. It's always a bit of a, what's the word? Tricky. It's a tricky situation when I suggest paint colours to customers. I was given the opportunity on this one to suggest a couple of colours, and he's gone with basically the first colour that I suggested. And it always sounds great in my head, but then you do wonder what it's going to look like actually on the car sometimes. But I think this one's going to come out nice. My other colour for this one was potentially a very, very, very light grey and a solid colour as well. Just a little bit unusual because it's got all the black and the chrome. It's got a lot of chrome pieces on it. It's got black wheels. Yeah, just black and chrome. I think the grey would have gone really well, but I think equally this is going to look very, very nice. This original colour, we just didn't like it. It just looked faded. It looks old, essentially, which obviously this car is, but giving it a bit of a new lease of life. So, yeah, I think it was just the nicer way to go with this. But yeah, this colour in the daylight outside, I can already tell you this is going to look something quite special. Right, it's the alarm going for the bake cycle. Get it on bake, go home. Last push with the Jensen, the doors are back on, then gaps up quite nicely straight away actually. TIG is just guide coasting the entire car now, so as I said in previous videos, well I actually said 500, but we'll probably go with a 320 on in the entire car on the DA, and then mask up ready for paint. Ready to go first thing in the morning. So first step on this one, as per one of the previous jobs, I'm going to stone guard the arches. We've masked it this way as well. We've managed to keep the wheels on this car. I normally take the wheels off and put it up on stands, but actually you've got such a small amount of area to paint on these that it's very easy to get the spray gun in there anyway. The only reason I normally take wheels off is you just can't get the access sometimes, but the wheels are quite inbound on this car. The arches stick out a bit, so it's very easy to get access on this one, no problem there. Anyway, stone guard all 4 arches, and the bottom sill all the way along as well. It's got stone guard on the most part on the back end, but on the repair work at the front it doesn't. So we will stone guard that entire sill. I believe it's covered by a chrome piece anyway, but it just gives it a bit more protection, and it had stone guard in it when it came in, so I don't know if that's a standard thing on these Jensens or not, but we will replicate that anyway. Like I said, just gives it a bit more protection in any case. So mask off all 4 arches, and the bottom sills on both sides, stone guard that, and then I believe it's got an hour's flash. I've got to check the TDS, but an hour's flash I think before we can wet and whack the entire car, and then yeah, paint the whole thing basically. I'm glad I put the doors back on this one as well, because it's not the easiest to paint. The 3-stage colour that we've chosen on this one is very, very difficult to paint. So yeah, good decision to put the doors back on. We have soft edged it. Didn't show it in the video so much, but you can see the soft edge foam there just about. It's all the way around the door, obviously, and then protected from the inside. So yeah, it'll leave a nice seamless edge. You won't notice the difference. Yeah, skirted the whole car as well, as we always do. As we normally do in any case. It's just try and keep the jobs as clean as we possibly can first time round. The whole car almost probably get a polish in any case, but if we can avoid any dirt nibs and dust nibs going in there, then we obviously try to do that the first time round. So yeah, that's it for now. Catch you in the morning. Guard is done, anti-static, panel wipes, solvent and water based, ready to go. Got a couple of little pieces on the back here as well, figured I'd get those done at the same time. Yeah, epoxy on a few of the bare metal areas again, as always. You can see it just about, top edge there especially. Next step, into wet on wet. I'm going with a white wet on wet, obviously, because the car is going white as well. And then technically that only needs a 15-minute flash, but we're going to have some lunch. It's about that time, so we'll let it sit for lunch and then straight in with the colour then. So that's the wet on wet done, or sealer, whatever you want to call it. I think seal is a bit more of an American term. We tend to use wet on wet in the UK. But yeah, you can see the primer underneath still, or the grey primer underneath the high build. It doesn't give it full coverage. It would if I gave it 2 coats, but we don't need to do that. We don't need full coverage. It just evens it out a bit, and it makes it a lot, obviously, less noticeable than it was before. It basically means that we can use a little bit less base coat, a little bit less paint to get the desired effect. Again, our paints, they are opaque, so they will cover, but it would need a lot more, and sometimes you can see the shadowing ever so slightly underneath if you just went straight on with the paints. So that's part of the reason we use it. And the other reason is it does tend to fill in a few of the 320 scratches, gives it a bit more of a base, and it also helps with adhesion. So it's a threefold sort of thing, threefold reason why we use it. But yeah, basically this has got to sit there and dry now. Flash off for 15. Like I said, we're going on lunch now. 15 minutes though, plus lunch, and then straight on with our base coat then. 3-stage system. So it's going to be 2 coats of the white, and then 2 coats of the effect coat, and then 2 drop coats of the effect coats, followed then finally by 2 full coats of our clear. So it's a big old process, long process. We'll be in the booth for quite some time today. Yeah, I'm not going to video much more of the painting side of things. I'll show a few clips, but I'm not going to do the head camera or anything like that. I'll be honest, whites are very unsatisfying. They're very difficult to paint. You can barely see what you're doing when you're painting in any case. I don't think it's going to show up nearly as nicely as some of the videos do on the YouTube. You just won't be able to see it going on, so there's no point. But I'll show you the stages regardless. 3-stage done then, so this is the base colour down basically. It takes just giving it a heavy tack now. This is the last opportunity that we have to get any nibs and bits of dirt and things out of the paintwork at this stage. Once we go to the next stage, we will not be able to tack it again. We won't be able to take any nibs out, not easily anyway, because basically it's a translucent layer next. So once we start that, if we then get any issues after that, we can't just go straight back into the translucent. We need to dust it in with this colour again before going on to that. That's part of the reason why the 3 stages are so difficult. So we need to try and get everything absolutely as clean as possible at this stage. Had to retape a couple of areas. We've had quite a lot of issues with this one, just being very, very greasy on the insides. No matter how many times we've panel wiped it, it's greasy and dusty on the inside. Old car at the end of the day, so it has been a bit tricky to try and get the tape to stick. So we've had to be going around retaping a few bits and pieces, but for the most part it's come out really clean actually. Very happy with how things are at this stage. So yeah, just on to the next effect coats now, which is where it really starts coming into life. I'll go and mix that now, have one more inspection with the inspection light, make sure we've got full coverage, and then a couple of coats of effect coats, a couple of dust coats are the same. It should be ready for clear then. Dry down then, so you might have seen me in the previous clip walking the car. I wasn't too happy. There's a few areas which were looking a little bit mottled, a bit splotchy to me. Like I said many times now, the 3 stages, they're really not easy, and it just looked ever so slightly uneven. So we ended up walking the car with the drop coats, but it seems to have evened out nicely. It's the last dry going down now. Let this flash for a little bit longer. It doesn't technically need to with the water space, but it's very warm in here. We've been in here for hours, so I'm going to shoot out of the booth for a little bit and then clear it in a little bit. But yeah, this is what it looks like before the clear coat. And the effect is really going to come to light when we put the clear coat down, as I said before. So the edges on something like this, on the 3-stage pulls, they're really going to be highlighted in the sun. I think it should look nice. Just yeah, wish me luck for the clear coat. Straight off the gun then, just come back in to have a quick look before the bake cycle. It's really difficult to get this colour on the camera, just does not pick it up at all. But yeah, first inspection, looking good. Hopefully we'll get some decent weather in the next few days, so I'll be able to have a quick look at this one outdoors, because that's where it's really going to show. But yeah, unmask it tomorrow, get it on bake in a second for half an hour, unmask it tomorrow, start putting it back together. that is another one off the list then. So just some tiny little bits left to do on this one from our side of things, namely dressing the tyres, getting rid of the polishing residue, a bit of a clean up. I've left the front glass out deliberately because there's a new seal to go back in there. We don't do that sort of thing, so I'm leaving that up to you, Nick, over at Classic Engineering. Chrome pieces on the roof. He's redoing the guttering on the roof vinyl, so there's no point in me putting that back on. Likewise with the windows, again, I've not adjusted those properly just because he's going to have to rip bits and pieces off, namely door handles, things like that, are coming straight back out again when he gets the car back. So I haven't gapped this one up completely. I haven't finished it off properly, as it were. It's not a complete car, shall we say that, but you can see actually the various trim pieces in the boot there, just some of those to go back with the car when it gets refit. I'm not putting the number plates back on. Hopefully it's going to have black plates on it. I think it really doesn't look quite right to me in any case with the yellow and white plates, so hopefully we can get a set of black plates on there. I think that will really make the car look a lot better. Oh, and yeah, bonnet's not back on. Bonnet is next door at the moment. I haven't put the bonnet back on because I haven't got Tig with me today, so I haven't been able to do that by myself. Excuse the lights. And the rear hatch next door as well. But likewise, Nick's got some bits to do on that, some finishing work to do on that. So I've left it off for now. Probably put it back on just for the transport's sake. But yeah, essentially, that's another one done, ready to go. So like I said, just a clean down, and that'll be set and ready to go. Yeah. Not sure what I'm going to be doing over the next few days, guys. It's obviously Christmas now. We've been winding down for Christmas, or trying to. I will most probably be around the shop for quite some time. Not quite sure what I'm doing. I've got some projects that I want to do myself. No idea if I'm actually going to get around to those or not. But not sure if I'm going to be posting a video next week. We shall see. But if I don't catch you guys next week, then obviously have a good Christmas and a fantastic New Year. More than likely I will be around, so I'll probably be taking a few clips here and there. But yeah, thanks again for the support, everyone. Thank you to all the new subscribers, all of that good stuff. And yeah, have a great Christmas, New Year, and catch you again whenever I do. Bye from the boys as well.